I was gonna title this video something fucking like an open letter to Bethesda or some shit, but at the risk of being cringy and dramatic and whatever, they're just plain full of shit. I was just like, yeah, you know what? Let me just basically title it what it is. Oh man, go fuck yourself. I'm late to the game, sure. Basically in my head, and maybe Todd Howard, yeah, fuck that engine. Making your Crocs in the Philippines and shit. Boxing you out. Pokemon. Will Smith. Is that it? Oh, Will Smith again. I don't know, what was my point here? Basically in my head, El Kira. Oh, cook a fucking steak. In my head, fucking dead. Carcass. Perks. You're by showing me that you're, you know what I'm saying? I'm concerned, my babies. They battle like fucking... Good looking at. Let me preface this video by saying what other people preface their videos with, the same fucking disclaimer you hear. I want to preface this video by saying that I love Fallout. I fell in love with Fallout. It is one of my greatest loves of life. Like, I haven't even had that serious of a relationship. So, just fucking... I love Fallout, and I love the Elder Scrolls. I played Oblivion. I played it for like 10 hours, which for games like that is the equivalent of playing something like Super Mario Bros. Or whatever for like 30 minutes, you know, for like one level. Yeah, I played Oblivion. I played the shit out of Skyrim. I played the shit out of Fallout 4. I played the shit out of Fallout 3. My friend... and New Vegas as well, but my friend was the one who turned me onto it. He gave me a copy of Fallout 3, and he's like, oh, it's cool, like, you could blow up a town, and you get this one ability that makes people just blow up when you kill them. So I'm like, okay, I'm like, blowing up a town, I don't give a fuck, whatever I did. And so I put it in, I started playing it, and I'm like, oh, man, this is like the Metroid Prime I've been asking for. This is the Metroid Prime I've always waited for. Because back then, my open world, the most open world that I played was Metroid Prime on the fucking GameCube. And the most RPG that I played was... I don't know if I played this before or after Mass Effect, but definitely like Pokemon and shit like that. And I'd never gotten to experience a game in which you could really immerse yourself in the world, in the lore, and your decisions impact the world space in such a fucking beautiful way. And that's what I think a lot of people say in their videos at one point or another, especially when they're first criticizing Fallout 76. They're like, let me start off by saying how much I have loved Bethesda and their games in the past. And, of course, my video is no different. And, I mean, I'm late to the game, sure. But I felt like I wanted a little time to pass, and I wanted to play the game as much as I could, and enjoy it as much as I could. I tried to enjoy it as much as I tried to enjoy the game. I tried to let some time pass by to see after, you know, the hate, after like the haters have died down, the lovers have died down, the fucking everything's just mellow out, and we see Fallout for what it really is, Fallout 76 for what it is and what it can be and all that shit. That's really what this is about. It's about people who have experienced these games and who love these games and people who are seeing the industry kind of like fuck up a little bit or a lot of it in some cases, and they're worried that Bethesda is going to be touched by that corruption, by that fucking bullshit. And Fallout 76 seems to be it. And the thing about it is, maybe the developers, the fucking grunts rendering the world, and the people checking the code or whatever, maybe they poured their heart and soul into this game. Maybe it was their passion project, and maybe Todd Howard and Pete Hines and all those motherfuckers in charge, maybe, just maybe, they innocently wanted to make a game with a very niche concept. Right? The idea of no human NPCs. And maybe this was all just like one big fuck up, and maybe it was all innocent enough. But from where we're standing, and after fucking, years of EA and Activision and people trying to copy League of Legends and people trying to copy Fortnite, all that shit, from where we're standing, it just seems like a big cash grab. Maybe it was innocent enough, but we're looking at it and we're like, it just looked all kind of wrong. Like, I saw that one YouTuber guy, I came across this thing, he was talking about the engine and how Bethesda had it start with Morrowind or whatever, and how the creation engine was actually Gamebryo, and before that it was like, it's fucking Topograph or whatever the fuck it's called, and basically the engine is like a bunch of engines slapped together, and that's why it kind of sucks the way it does. Because Bethesda doesn't want to build it from the ground up. It just wants to keep sticking shit on there. I don't know much about coding. I think that should be another disclaimer. I don't know much about coding or programming or anything like that. So I'll watch YouTube videos like that. And sure, I'll watch them with a grain of salt even then, because I don't know much about it. But I'm like, yeah, you know what? You convinced me. I don't know much about it. Fuck that engine. A lot of people will open up their reviews and their evaluations of Fallout 76 with, first, I've loved Fallout for ages and whatever, and then they'll say, even if we remove all the bugs. Like, that's sort of what people, that's how people talk about Fallout 76. It's such a bad game, even if you give it the grace that has been given to, a bunch of other Bethesda games. Even if you give it that okay, the technical fucking inaptitude aside, it's still a bad game. And I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. After playing, I think, 50 hours of the game. I know there's an achievement. If you play 76 hours of the game, you get 40 points, or 40 of those fucking money points. You get 40 cents if you play 76 hours. That is, you get paid less than a motherfucking, dude making your Crocs in the Philippines and shit. I don't know where fucking Crocs come from. Say, after playing the game for about 50 or so hours, I'm at level 70-ish. I didn't even use any exploits. I played the shit out of the game. I have 2,500, I think, atoms. I have 6,000 something caps. So as I'm playing the game, right, for 50 hours, I'm at level 70. I got all this shit. I look at all the things, like the events, the quests, the world, the map, the weapons, the enemies, all of that shit. I look at it, and I just see, a stick figure version of what maybe, hopefully, Bethesda wanted to make. That's what I like. When your 5-year-old comes up to you and it's just like, hey, look, I drew you, Daddy, and me, and that's me, and it's a fucking stick figure. It ain't no Van Gogh or Mona Lisa or whatever the fuck. And it's a little kid, so you can't sell anything, and it's free. It didn't cost me $60, so that's good, I guess. And when I look at Fallout 76, it reminds me a lot of that. It's like, this world, this map looks very beautiful. The enemies are very diverse in terms of, the type of it, just the appearance. But in this beautiful big world, there's nothing to do, and nothing happens. And with these enemies, they all act the same. They all just fucking stand there and shoot. And then somehow the mole miners always lose their fucking weapons, and they just start boxing you out. The events, I can sort of see, I kind of see what you were trying to get at, but they're fucking boring and repetitive, Bethesda. They're sort of you know how a lot of people will do in MMOs and in a lot of other games that have endgame content, they will grind It's like, alright, now it's time to fucking grind for levels, or it's time to grind for this legendary, like in Borderlands. And ESO has such beautiful endgame content. And then like Pokemon, if you really want to fucking up your game, you start like EV training and all this other shit. All of those things, they all have like this endgame content, and it's all pretty grindy. And the events in Fallout 76, they're grindy, but they're not endgame. They don't give you great rewards. They don't, like, it's after you do it the first time, it's like, okay, well, I've done it, so fuck it. Once you get past level fucking whatever, it's really only convenient to do like 2 events, like that one where you have to play all the instruments. They give you a bunch of like ghouls, and you get to fight a Wendigo at the whatever the fuck it's called, at the end, and all that shit. You guys ever seen Suicide Squad, the DC movie? And they're changing the formula up a bit, like the fucking ragtag group of villains. Let's see how this works out. And I love Will Smith. I love Margot Robbie. I love fucking, is that it? Oh, the chick who played, oh my goodness, what is her name? Even in the movie, the one who played oh my goodness, Amanda Waller. The one who played Amanda Waller. I think she played her very well. My friend, he's like, oh yeah, she played her very well. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Played with Amanda Waller very well. Basically, I look at Suicide Squad, and it sucked ass. It is a movie that sucked ass, and I didn't want it to fail. It's not like I have this Marvel vendetta against DC like some people have. I'm like, if both succeed, fucking great for us. That's great for me. Nobody wanted that movie to suck. Nobody wants these movies to suck. Nobody wants Fallout 76 to suck ass. Nobody wants these things. I don't know, maybe it's a fucking, like, just it's sort of natural selection, but in terms of, like, artwork or whatever, because, you know, it's only one, you know, fucking out of this whole discography of the White Stripes, everyone always remembers that one song. I don't know, what was my point here? The whole stick figure thing? Let me look at that. You know, ultimately, there has to be shit out there in order for the good things to be good. I don't fucking know, but if there was one thing I didn't want to be bad, it was Fallout 76. Like, the things that echo in my head is what Pete Hines said. When he says shit like, we know where the line is. When it comes to transactions and loot boxes and things of that sort, he says, we know where the line is. At first, you see the phrase and it seems to be just a good thing. Oh, they know where the line is. That's cool. But then you think about it, it's like, wait, they know where the line is. And you ever seen, not to bring up Will Smith again, but have you ever seen I Am Legend? I fucking envision, you know that scene where Will Smith, he gets caught by the fucking guy, by the zombie dude, by the smart zombie guy, and then the dogs are trying to get him, but that sliver of light as the sun goes down is still preventing them, and as the sun goes down, they fucking rush to him. That's sort of what I imagine, like, Pete Hines and all these other companies, all these other video game companies, they're just like, they know where the line is, and they advertise that. That's part of their marketing. Oh, yeah, we're not going to have microtransactions right there. And they're fucking they're just waiting for somebody to fuck up. They're just waiting for somebody to tell them it's okay. They're just waiting, not even that. You know, like, that whole thing, was it a Reddit post or an email? Where a Bethesda employee or something, they went on this big rant about how fucking Starfield is like stuck, and then everyone's bummed out because of Fallout 76, and their CEO of ZeniMax, I'm guessing, is like pushing for loot boxes in all their games and all this shit. And everyone thought it was a rumor, and some fucking guy debunked it, and like, or several other employees from Bethesda debunked it and all that shit. And I was like, oh yeah, it was a rumor and all this shit. But I've been watching Juicehead's videos. He'll mention the fucking lines of code in the Fallout 76 folder, file, whatever, where it says something about lunchboxes and something about lunchboxes having mutations for a limited time. I'm like over here thinking, what if those rumors were true? Some fucking top guy at Bethesda or ZeniMax is saying, like, you know, put these motherfucking loot boxes in the game. And they're like, I don't know, man, it kind of failed, so I guess, you know, we should do it. Yeah, so, basically, in my head, like, the probability of that rumor thing being true was, like, 0.01%. But after watching those Juicehead videos, it's, like, a significant 5%. Kind of like, what's his name from fucking, like, L. It's a 5% possibility that, you know, he's the Death Note guy, or whatever the fuck. What is he? Kira. Yeah. I'm not too much of an anime fan, don't hold it against me. So anyways, back to Fallout 76. I'm playing this game, and like I said, it feels very empty, basically echoing the words of so many other people who have played this game and who have reviewed it and who have made YouTube videos about it and who haven't made YouTube videos about it. I talked to one of my friends. I convinced him to get it because I was like, "Oh, Fallout is really great." And I'm feeling kind of bad because he spent fucking full price for he doesn't play it at all, and it was shit. It was a shit fucking game. I'm sorry. It is. I'm sorry. Oh! Alright. I was talking to my friend, and he's like, yeah, dude, it kind of sucks that when you fucking go to, like, the airport, and you get this holotape, and you put the holotape in, and it's say, oh, no, we're getting attacked at the airport. He's like, I want to be attacked at the airport. And then you go to this fucking cave, and it's like, oh, we got backed up into a cave, overwhelmed by ghouls. I want to be overwhelmed by ghouls. As I played through the main quest line as much as I could, and I think I'm like up to the point where I played Brotherhood of Steel, and I played their initiation. That's one of the things that bugs the shit out of me, man. Like in the main quest line of Fallout 76, you go through all the different factions, and you have to do all their quests. The big problem with that shit is that in every single faction, the responders, the fire breathers, maybe not so much the Order of Mysteries, the Raiders, the Free States, the Brotherhood of Steel, all of these fucking factions, they have 2 quests, and one of them is some initiation fucking quest of, oh, join the responders, so you have to go to a terminal, they tell you to cook a fucking steak, and that's the first fucking, that's literally all the motherfucking. In my head, I'm filling in the gap. This could have been a great story. One of the quests of the Fire Breathers was follow Madigan's trail. And in my head, like, after I was done with the fucking quest, he's just dead at the hands of Rose. Just fucking dead. I made up my own little story of what could have been cool in Fallout 76. But, okay, so I'm like walking around, I'm listening to the holotapes, I'm trying to soak in the lore of Fallout 76, of Appalachia, of like 25 years after the bombs drop, and I'm like, that's your fucking game, Bethesda. That's your game. This was your game. Don't open the doors 25 years later when everyone's fucking dead. Open the doors 10 years later with all the responders and the Scorched and the Raider things, all that shit going on right at that fucking moment. Like, that was your game. Not this fucking carcass. Quite like literally carcass of a storyline, because that's what you're doing. You're like, in many ways, you're exploring the carcass of this fucking storyline. You're finding dead bodies, you're finding carcasses that lead you across the storyline. The storyline itself is about a fucking carcass of a mission. It's like these people had this mission to stop the Scorch Beasts and shit, and they fucking failed, and the mission itself died, and you have to fucking revive this carcass. Like, in my head, when I was looking at that quest objective at the right, whatever, at the top of your screen, follow Madigan's trail. What if it said, follow Madigan's heroic trail? And you see the story of Madigan, a heroic fire breather, and obviously you stretch it out from what it's, if you look at Fallout 76, you just fucking, from one place to the next, and he's dead. So, imagine instead the story was Madigan like goes to this one place, he takes out a bunch of fucking feral ghouls, and you only have to take out a few. So, oh man, he took out all these feral ghouls by himself, and then you see that he took out a Deathclaw barehanded, and then fucking he did some other shit, and then he did some other shit, and finally you end up with he ends up at the hands of the Raiders, and he gets caught. Right, the fucking hero of the Raiders gets caught, and your choice, what you have to do, like this. Where is my notes? Where's my notes? He gets caught by the Raiders, and these are human NPCs. So this is a different Fallout 76, a different one. He gets caught by the Raiders, and you have to decide either to kill him and join the Raiders, or to save him and fight your way through the Raiders, or alternatively, you can kill him, fight your way through the raiders, and then become the leader of the fire breathers. And each one has its own perks and endings and shit. So you kill him and you join the raiders, you become part of the raider faction. The fire breathers are now your enemy. You have certain perks or access to certain abilities or perks or weapons or loot and shit, and non-access to other shit that the fire breathers could have given you. If you save him and you fight your way through the raiders, he becomes a companion. He's still leader he can become a companion. He's still the leader of the fire breathers. He also gives you loot at the end. Or if you kill him, or if he dies in the process of you trying to save him, you become the leader of the fire breathers, and you get a certain, you get perks or maybe some loot. You get a perk, right? Fire breathers leader. You fucking take 5% less damage from all sorts of shit, or whenever you're wearing a fucking fire breather's gas mask, you punk on some bitches. One of the things that I was thinking about is that it almost looks like there was a disconnect between the scenario designers and Todd Howard's vision. So Todd Howard is like, no human NPCs, but he still has these human NPC writers on his staff. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're still thinking in terms of traditional Fallout games. So they make this Fallout game, and they make a really good story, but then they have to start taking bits out, like pulled pork. So they have to start taking bits out because no human NPCs. Okay, so what is he? He's just finds a fucking holotape on his body. I don't know, man. How do you even do this? So, okay, what is he do? It's just finds a holotape on his dead body. Okay, what does he do when he gets here? Finds a dead holotape on his body. Oh, she's not dead. She's alive, and she's a robot. Like, that's one of the other things that keeps ringing in my head. The way Pete Hines, he's like, what did he say? Oh, it's not that kind of game. Right? He said, it's not that kind of game. Which begs, ultimately, the question, what kind of game is it? It tries to be so many kinds of games, and ends up doing none of them right. And that's, again, something people have fucking said from the very get-go. I make amateur board game designs, and I like to write a lot of ideas for like comic books and movies and things like that. I'm often thinking of cool fucking ideas, and the difficulty is applying them in a cool way. So when I heard that Fallout 76 was going to be multiplayer and it was going to have no human NPCs, I wasn't completely against it. I was like, if they can pull it off, fucking groovy. Really what this was about is what's going to happen with the Fallout franchise, with the Elder Scrolls. I'm concerned because I still love Fallout. I love the lore. And like I said, I look at Fallout 76. I look at what it could have been and what it can still be if you fucking, I don't know, if you really work at it. Now you're really in the scopes of people. Like, if you make the Elder Scrolls 6 and it's basically just like Skyrim in many ways, people are going to be like, oh, it's the same old fucking formula. Even though that's basically what, in many ways, attracts us to your games, Bethesda. And I think at this point, if you follow that same momentum into Elder Scrolls 6, it might not be good enough this time. What is this going to mean in terms of trying to design these games? What is it going to mean about the budget? The shareholders are like, yeah, your last Fallout title didn't do so hot, so your next Fallout title, we're not going to give you that much money for it. And even if you had these cool ideas to fucking do, now it's just going to start slumping down, and it's just gonna ruin it. I'm kind of worried. I was cool with Fallout 4. I was like, you know what? They fixed the combat. They watered down the RPG elements. They got it out of their system. They streamlined the game to try and fucking grab as many different graphics as possible, like the fucking Minecraft, Call of Dutyers, the RPGers, all of them shits. They tried to fucking get them. Okay, you got them. You made a buck, almost $1 billion. When that game first released. Great. You got it out of your system. You fixed the combat. Next game is going to be like Fallout 4 and 3 in New Vegas. Just had the best baby ever. Fallout 5, Fallout whatever the fuck, wherever the fuck is stand. That's going to be great. Now after Fallout 76, it's going to be maybe not so great. It's going to fucking be, I don't know, man. And that's basically what brings me to a sobering realization about the Fallout franchise, about the Elder Scrolls. that I don't give a fuck about you, Bethesda. I don't. Could that be any more asshole? I don't care. If I have to throw you under a bus and a half to save my baby, Fallout and the Elder Scrolls, like to save my babies, I will. If I have to see you go under so that the IP can be free and be bought by, I mean, everyone likes Obsidian, so be bought by Obsidian, I will. If I have to help in rallying the community to fuck with you on that level, I will. So you better shape the fuck up. Okay, I'm gonna give you one more chance. I spent $60 on this fucking game. You brought it down to $30 in the first 2 weeks. And now I'm hearing that you're. Now I'm hearing that it's going free to play. I've seen 2 thumbnails on YouTube, and that's all the information I need. But if I see this fucking game go free to play in the next month or two, I paid this game for $60, and I didn't ask for a refund. I'm not asking for one now. What I'm asking for you to do is to give me my money back in the form of utilizing one of my ideas that I have written down somewhere around here. And I have so many ideas working with your non-human NPCs, still multiplayer, but not so griefy. Working within those parameters, I still have a buttload of ideas. And what I want you to do, Bethesda, is I want you to implement at least one of those ideas. That's how you're going to pay me back, by showing me that you're by showing me that I'm a genius. Can't be a fucking genius, I can't even pronounce words. That's how you're going to pay me back, by helping you fix this game. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. And I know it was your first time and you were scared and whatever the fuck. And like I said, it might have been an innocent attempt, but from over here, it looks like some bullshit. Here's a little caveat. Here's a little taste of what I'm talking about. I have an idea for raid bosses that can appear in the nuke zones. I'm gonna give you the best idea that I have, or one of the better ideas. I have other stuff in there, but one of the cool ideas that I have of raid bosses that can appear in the nuke zones, because you know how in the nuke zones you have the Scorch Beast Queen, and she comes out, and that's like the event pops off, everyone can teleport to it, and you fucking, yeah, you do that. I have an idea of aliens going into the nuke. So hear me out. Okay, so aliens are attracted. So instead of a Scorch Beast Queen, aliens are attracted to the nuke site, and so a big mothership appears. A bunch of people get abducted. And so the ground people and the people on the alien ship have to work together in order to take down this, like, mothership. Not the mothership, but a mothership, because obviously you want to keep repeating this fucking thing and the lore, canon, whatever. Basically, the aliens want to abduct people with different builds, right? They want to abduct humans with different sort of... So the aliens want to abduct people with different skills and body types and all that shit. So what they're going to do is abduct people with different, like, in terms of their special stats, they're going to abduct, like, someone with a high intelligence, with a high strength, with a high this and a high that. And those people on the thing, they have to work together in order to take down the thing. So somebody's going to try to hack a terminal. And when you go into the terminal of the aliens, it's obviously not going to be in English. So your intelligence level is going to determine how well your character can decipher the alien text in time to fucking shut down the security thing so that the guy with the strength can smash the generator and all that shit. Like, and the people on the ground are trying to fight off the alien abominations and the aliens and the different mind controlled and experimented on scorched and super mutants and things like that. And you might have like a Scorch Beast in the mix trying to fucking kill the aliens and kill you, and it's a 3-way battle, like fucking... I'm telling you, I have tons of those ideas, and it was slightly disorganized the way I gave it this time, but that's because I wanted to say it really fast and end this video. How long is it going to go? Like, what does my raw footage look like right now? 50 minutes. 15 minutes of raw footage. The last time I tried editing a fucking video very simply. Anyways, I'm going to try to get back to you. I'm going to try to help you out, Bethesda. Help me help you. My fellow Fallout fanboys, hold on. Hold on in there. I'm going to try to do my part, and I think we should all do our part to try and help this. I know it's not our job. I know it's not our job. It's not my job. I got some shitty-ass fucking job. I don't know. Good looking out.